Today, we are exploring the most important aspect for a manager: money. Yes, for a business, money is critical, and the cloud services don't come for free. So, in this video, we are going to look into how AWS pricing works and some tools that will help you in making smart financial decisions when it comes to cloud. Let's dive into the pricing models. There are three basic pricing models in AWS: pay as you go, pay less by using more, and pay less when you reserve. AWS offers a pay as you go pricing approach for the majority of their cloud services. It means you pay only for the services you need for as long as you use them. This allows you to easily adapt to the changing business needs without having to overcommit budgets and depend on forecasts. Pay less by using more focuses on economies of scale. You can get volume-based discounts as your usage increases and save more while using more. The pay less when you reserve pricing model works best if you know how much resources or compute capacity your workloads require. AWS charges relatively less when you can commit to the services for a year or 3 years term. There are further 3 more pricing policies with pay less when you reserve: all upfront, partial upfront, and no upfront. We will take a deeper look into these later in this video. Moving on, there are 3 fundamental drivers of costs with cloud: compute, storage, and data transfer. To understand these better, I am giving you a superpower: the AWS Pricing Calculator. To enable your power, go to calculator.aws. Here, without even creating an AWS account, you can start estimating. So let's get into it. So AWS Pricing Calculator is the tool that is going to help you give an estimate without actually having to create resources yourself. And like I mentioned, you don't even need to create an account. So let's create an estimate. Here you can see that the services are divided into location type, and you can search for all services. Cost for some services are dependent on the location type. So I'll select search by location type. Here you can choose your reason and choose the reason that you're working with. You can also search for services from the input box, or you can scroll all the way down and there are the list of services that AWS provides. For this demo, we are going to work with EC2. So let's get into the configurations of EC2. Here you can simply put a description, and the location types are as specified. For the EC2 specifications, here's something called the tenancy, and there are 3 types of tenancy: the shared instances, dedicated instances, and dedicated hosts. So what are these? Shared instances simply mean that the physical machine or the underlying hardware is shared with other applications and other accounts. But don't need to worry about it because AWS makes sure that the data and workloads are isolated, maintaining utmost security. Now, dedicated instances means that the physical machine or underlying hardware is reserved for use for single AWS account, such that the EC2 instance running on the hardware is not shared with other AWS customers. The dedicated host also does the same thing, but it lets you specify the host. And the dedicated hosts are the more expensive option because they are allocated only to you. This might be useful when you want to use your own software licenses or have some compliance requirements that needs you to use the dedicated hosts. So for this demo, we are going to use the shared instances. You can also choose the operating system. There are a list of operating systems you can choose, and for this demo, we are choosing Linux. The workloads here means the type of traffic that your application is going to see. For this demo, we are choosing the constant uses, and let's just simply put the number of instances as 2. Now we have the instance family that we need to choose. There are several types of instance type, like the general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing, and so on. So for this demo, we are going to choose a general purpose instance type. Let's just simply choose the number of virtual CPUs. Let's choose 8. And for the memory, let's choose 12 gigabytes. So here we can see the options that best fit our description as mentioned above. So we can simply choose the one that fits the best for us right now, and that's the first option. So we finally get into the payment options. Here, as you can see, there are several types of payment options that are available to us. So starting from the first saving options, we have Compute Savings Plan. This is a flexible pricing model that helps us save money on compute services like EC2, Lambda, and Fargate. We get discounts in exchange for committing consistent uses like $10 per hour over a 1 or 3 year term. This discounts up to 66%. And you can see that there are different payment options like no upfront, partial upfront, and all upfront. You pay the most with the no upfront option, and you pay the least with the all upfront option. Now, moving on to the second type of payment option, we have EC2 Instant Saving Plan. This is lower cost option with less flexibility, since it is tied to a specific instance family within a region. But it still allows flexibility in instance size, operating system, and tenancy, and this provides up to 72% discount, and it's the same with the payment options. Now, moving on to the third option there is On Demand. On Demand has no upfront commitment, and you pay as you use it. As you can see, there's something called the uses and the uses type. So the uses type means how many hours per day or week or month your application needs to be working. So let's say my application needs to be working 24 hours a day. So I'll choose likewise. In the uses, I can put 24, and in the uses type, I'll choose hours per day. You can configure this according to the need of your product. We can see the price for our on-demand as given below, and it is the most expensive option, but it is more flexible and easy to work with no commitment required. Now let's move on to the spot instances. For spot instances, you bid on the excess capacity that AWS has. It is similar to getting discounts in an airline when they have spots left. This is the least expensive option, but it is interruptible and can be terminated at any time. So this is usually for workloads like data processing or background processes that can be interrupted and which can take days and months to complete. So we are not using the spot instances. Now there are other paying options as well, like the reserved instances. Now we have two types of reserved instances, the standard reserved instance and the convertible ones. So for reserved instance, it is similar. So we have to commit 1 to 3 years. It provides 30 to 60% of savings over on demand. And it is usually used for steady state applications or workloads because no interruptions are allowed. So for reserved instances, however, you need to pay for the capacity regardless of the users. So you need to consider that as well when selecting the reserved instances. Now you can simply, compare the payment options along with the no upfront, partial upfront, and all upfront options, and choose the one that best fits your needs. You can also see the calculations that goes into calculating the cost for your compute instances. You can also check the data transfer costs. So there's something called the inbound, intra-region, and outbound data transfer costs. So you can check if your application can incur cost during the inbound, outbound, or intra-region data transfer. For usually for inbound data transfer, there's no costs. It's free, but outbound data transfer might incur costs. So you can simply select the region and enter the amount or enter the number of data you expect to be transferred out of your region, out of your application, and then select the data amount, and the data transfer cost will also be added to your monthly cost as shown below. And once again, you can see the calculations that goes into determining the data transfer cost for your application. You can simply save this estimate and download the PDF file so that you can present it to your manager, to your boss, or it is just useful for you to see the approximate cost of the resources that might be used in your application or product. There are several payment options that AWS provides for its services. Choosing the right one that fits your requirements is critical. To know more on the pricing models, you can find the official white papers in the description below. Also, if you are already using AWS, you can check the incurred costs and set budgets using Cost Explorer and AWS budgets. More on these tools in the next video. I hope this video was helpful. Like, share, and subscribe for similar content, and I'll see you in the next video.